Welcome back, everybody, to another round of 0-Point reviews. You got Kevin cackling over there because this is our second restart of our video right now. But we are here to talk about Super Mario Brothers 2023 from Illumination and Universal Pictures, Universal Studios. And what did you think, Kevin?
Oh, gosh, I wasn't sure about this one. I was really curious, though. Like,
really?
Yeah, like we grew up with the disappointment of hearing, oh, there's going to be a Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, yeah.
And then hearing Bob Hoskins from Who Framed Roger Rabbit is going to play Mario. Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yep.
And then we got what we got. So, and then video game movies since then have traditionally sucked butt for the most part compared to its actual video game counterpart.
With the odd exceptions here and there.
Yeah. And that is really like dependent upon each individual horror fan. And I say horror fan because we know what games we're talking about. Yeah. Want to go watch Silent Hill now. Totally want to watch Silent Hill. But anyway, that's 0-Point review number 1 or 0-Point. Now I'm doing it
right here on Super Mario Brothers. We've already started.
It's all messing up. So anyway, what happened was there was news for this for a long time that there's going to be an animated Mario movie. And so like a lot of us got to thinking, oh shit, well, they're going to fix everything that they fucked up with making a movie. Why make a movie at this point?
Very plausible reasoning here. Just saying.
I don't know if live action would have been okay.
Well, they're going to try that with the Zelda movie, so stay tuned, everybody, for that.
So what Illumination does is first they drop their big names, like Chris Pratt is going to play Mario, and that immediately makes everybody lose their fucking shit, like, because it's not the actual Mario actor. Like, why not have him? That's a good question. Unfortunately, the answer really is Chris Pratt's name is a huge draw for ticket sales. Charles Martinet is not, unfortunately. However, that is Mario. He's everybody in the franchise.
Right.
So what they did is they released like 3 to 5 minute trailer to give just a bit of a preview, and Mario's not in it, but maybe for like 2 seconds at the end.
Right.
And what they show you is the invasion of the penguins in the what is it, like Vanilla Land, or wherever you race around in the
Do you yield?
Yeah, that one. And it starts out with all these fucking Koopas and Goombas and everybody that you're used to seeing just immediately plowing out of this fucking airship. And then here comes Kamek announcing to all these fucking penguins,
behold, the king of the Koopas.
Yeah, like this grand vizier voice. And then you see Koopa or Bowser start coming, like a silhouette of him. And you're thinking, like, oh God, is it actually going to be good? Or is it going to be what we remember? Because what we remember wasn't so much of a turtle as much as a
raging dinosaur.
Yeah, that wasn't even so much that. Like, really, he just he had cleanliness issues. So what they show you in this preview isn't that. It's not that stupid voice that doesn't work. You're going to expect this growly creature.
Right.
And you get Jack Black.
Bad ass casting. Straight up.
Yeah. And then the trailer ends. And then I think it was like a year and a half that we had to wait. So
Yeah, because then they would slowly roll out additional trailers showing just a tick more, then pulling back on other things and giving you a little Easter egg here and there for some other things that you would eventually see in the movie. And ultimately, the hype train pretty much followed the movie right along. I think a lot of people were very concerned about Chris Pratt trying to do like this Brooklyn style accent that he was trying to do for Mario. And you hear it here and there, but mostly he just kind of speaks like Chris Pratt does. So it just sounds fine. It's fine. It's not perfect. But to be frank, a lot of us felt, well, I'm not going to say a lot of us, I felt, at least for my opinion, I don't want to hear, it's me, Mario, for an hour and a half in a movie. I'm just being honest. I don't want to hear the kitschy, stereotypical voice. I want somebody who actually speaks like they're from New York. Chris didn't really do that, but he was fine. The rest of the movie came together, and I was talking with my wife about this. Your hero is only as good as the villain. Chris Pratt as the hero, as Mario, was fine. However, Jack Black as Bowser is basically Darth Vader with James Earl Jones's voice. It's the perfect recipe for okay and badass to get brought up and make a wonderful recipe for success. And this movie was.
Yeah, like he really steals the show.
Hell yeah.
In the very similar way that Jack Nicholson steals Batman.
Yeah.
And it's not because like Jack was the bigger name, so they gave him the top bill. It's not like that at all. Like he's just so good at being Bowser, and they make Bowser so interesting in this that you really care more about that than Mario trying to defeat Bowser or get to him.
Which they get to in the end. That's the overall story, but that's not the main driving point of the story. You got a lot of different things that are at play at the same time. It's complex without being complicated. It's just enough for adults to latch into it and be like, hey, this is kind of interesting. And young kids to be like, oh, I can follow this. I get what's going on.
Yeah, because like we've done other shows where we've joked like the plot or the script was written by your 12-year-old sister, like, and they would never go to the dance again. Like, this is kind of like that, where like Bowser has the hots for the princess instead of he just wants to like take over everything. He has he has a crush on her.
He loves her, and some fun musical numbers. Like, if that doesn't get stuck in your head, I don't know what to tell you, because peaches, 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 peaches. At least it didn't go like all Tenacious D with that song. That would have been pretty interesting to hear a rendition like that in that vein, but I'm glad they didn't go that route. And Jack Black was fantastic. One of the behind the scenes interviews that they have on the Blu-ray and the 4K, he actually talks about, I've never really gotten to do like a full villain, so I was super excited to jump into this kind of a movie, but at the same time I have to make him a little bit likable. Just so people can relate to him on like some level. And he felt like that was a little bit of a conflict for him, but he was able to pull it off. It probably just took a little bit of like, man, how do I read this line without sounding like a complete douchebag? I just still sound aggressive, and I'm definitely the villain, but how do I make it sound like I got a heart somewhere in me? It's really funny. And he totally jumps in on that, because I followed most of his movies through the years. He's played assholes, but he's never really played full villain characters. And this was really nice to see, because it shows he can do it. And I'm pretty pleased with how he turned out as Bowser. Basically stole the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, because he's the MCU main complaint is all the villains are turned into sympathetic characters. Bowser's not necessarily that. He's an empathetic character. Like, there's a lot of things in here that makes him relatable.
Yes.
But he's always a villain. Like, he starts out as a villain and he ends as a villain. There's that little brief moment where he's offering Princess to take his hand, but he's not willing to be an altruist or to turn a new leaf. He wants her to be a villain with him. So, like you said, he's got that commitment to the character throughout the entire film. And it just progresses to the point where it's like he doesn't get his way and he finally just says, fuck it, and loses his shit and attacks everything. And it's beautiful. He finally gets to Earth and everyone sees it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the ultimately the final battle really feels like a fun little fight that doesn't drag out for too terribly long. It's nice to see Mario and Luigi and their journeys from the movie to finally like accepting what they need to do and to stand up and like get the job done. And it's a fun like 3-minute sequence of them just beating the crap out of everything and everybody in the way, and they just end up like beating the crap out of Bowser in like less than a minute. Give him a blue mushroom, stick him in a jar, and call it a day, baby.
Don't take that one. It was cute. And it's like what they really should have called this picture is Easter Egg the movie.
Oh, there was so many. There's a special feature on the Blu-ray where they talk about some of them, and they pointed one out in there, and Amy and I were like, how the hell do you even fucking know that? Without knowing, it's when they burst through the brick wall into the main pipe room before they get sucked off to the Mushroom Kingdom. It's the original pixel head in the brick wall. But you wouldn't, I mean, unless you're hardcore of hardcores, you wouldn't know that. Like the original, like the Kong arcade game, it's the original pixel head in the shape of the wall that they just broke through. It's like, we had to pause the screen because they were talking about it. And we're like, what the hell? Like,
that
how
Kong
would you
face?
even notice it? No. What's that?
That Kong face or Mario?
Mario's head.
Oh, okay. So it was this one here. That one's
no, the original arcade where he's throwing the barrels and then you got to climb ladders all the way up.
Oh, with the blue. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's like, damn, how would you even know that unless you're like a hardcore Mario fan? So there's Easter eggs in here for people that are all over the place. Like they were even being pointed out things they didn't know were in there. So what does that tell you about some of the animators in this movie? They were having just a little bit of fun with this. Because they were getting pointed out some of like the 64s on a patch, different sort of like stickers and whatnot in the background. Like the directors are being told some of this stuff. They're like, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about this. I didn't know about that. It's like, it's your fucking movie, guys. What can I say?
How much QA was into it? And I'll show you how much QA they put into the movie later.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
Meow.
Yes. I'm not gonna lie. Like I told my friend Katie, like I've only got one joke tonight, and I feel bad. And she basically told me like, don't worry about it. If you're not feeling creative, I'm like, no. It's a good joke. It's a good joke. I've just only got one.
It's just a movie. We're just a couple of guys talking about Super Mario Brothers and not the original Mario Brothers from the 93 film. We don't need to do that.
Okay,
don't kill us, Kevin.
There's only one person missing from this movie, and that is Daisy. There's no Daisy character.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah. So, like, will we get Samantha Mathis in the future? Probably not, but that would have been cool. Okay. I'm not nitpicking, and I don't want to put it down. I'm not putting her down at all. Taylor Joy Johnson, the young lady that played Princess Peach. What? she's very young, like missed the first 4 Mario games in life. And everyone else is old like us. You're gonna make fun of me, aren't you? I see something in your eyes like, I've got him.
No, you keep on going.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was just very young is all I'm saying, compared to, say, like Chris Pratt, who's old and belittled like us. But again, not as old as Bob Hoskins was playing Mario in that movie.
Now that could have been a bit creepy. Just saying.
Yes.
But Anya Taylor-Joy, she sounded fine in this movie. She's got a young look to her. She's got a young voice. But, you know, I liked her story.
She is young.
She came from normal Earth, and she got sucked over to that area too. It explains why she's the only human on that side that we know of at this time. And, you know, the writers and the directors basically said, you know, we have ideas in store for the next couple movies, including a character, Yoshi, that appears in this movie at the very end. So they clearly have a through line. They're going to be doing more. And I even made the joke, like, they're probably going to, they mentioned galaxies. They've mentioned Odyssey in this movie. Like, there's places for them to go. Like, hell, they could even do the Super Mario RPG storyline because they have Bowser in a jar. They may have to fight something that's a little bit nastier than him, and they got to let him out.
A summon.
Yeah. I mean, there's things they can do and have fun. And this is a good first step. If you're going to do a franchise, I think this is a really good start. How you follow up after this, though, is going to be very important. If you can nail the second one, you improve upon some of the weaknesses from this first one, and, you know, just ramp up the stakes, do just more, give people a little bit more of what they wanted from, like, characters, not so much the Easter eggs. You did fine. You got us in the theater. You got us to like this one. Now it's time to let's roll with the story and see what we got. And then if the third one can come around and put the cross the finish line, we might have a hell of a franchise on our hands, which is more than we ever did before in theatrical or even television. Because I watched that show growing up. And I don't mean the cartoon. I'm talking about Captain Lou Albano, buddy.
You know, that was a good time. It wasn't a dark time. It was a good time. It was fun. Like, every day, if not every weekend, it depended upon when you got to see it, you were told to get the fuck up and do the Mario.
You did do one. Was it because of the song that you heard at the beginning of this movie that made you think this, or?
Oh, yes.
The rap.
That was the first pop for me, is when they did the Mario rap. And I was like, yes, this movie could suck balls throughout the rest of the flick, and I will not care. And fortunately for all, the movie did not suck balls. There's a lot of folks who did think so, but I think those are the type of folks that just can't be made happy in general. Like, again, Chris Pratt's not Mario. Chris Pratt's not Italian.
Fred Armisen is not Cranky Kong.
No, he's not, but he was still funny.
That is the only voice in this whole movie. I was just like, that does not work for me, like, at all. It just didn't. It wasn't the lines. It was the delivery. I could not get into that at all.
Oh, it didn't not do it.
I didn't hate it, but he only talked for like a couple minutes anyway. So it's like,
That's true. That's true. And his character, Cranky Kong, wasn't horrible at all. Like, he was funny. Like, I liked his boredom is what made me laugh. Like, nothing amused him.
And putting down Donkey and Diddy was pretty funny. I'm looking at you, Diddy Kong. Oh, man.
But Donkey Kong's sitting there trying to get the crowd going, fucking doing a pelvic
doing the Rick Rude.
Dad, look!
I got the crowd going wild for me, Dad.
And that was funny because that was totally like Super Smash Brothers there. And I was like,
oh, God, yeah.
That's cool. The only thing that would have made that more nostalgic is if the like scene would have glitched right there and stopped. But sorry, Smash Brothers fans.
Well, it would have been funny because that would have been pretty good. They might. I wonder if they wouldn't mind doing that in the next movie and be like, and do some weird little thing like, "There's a glitch in the Matrix."
They could
a
have
little bit of a
probably.
joke.
They probably could have done that and not gotten Nintendo's ire, because Nintendo's typically pretty strict with their franchises.
Well, they were
Specifically
hands-on with
Zelda.
this one.
Yes, because after 1991 or 92, whenever it was, they were not fucking around ever again with that character or this franchise.
Or any of their properties.
Yeah, and that's rightfully so. It's just
Yeah.
because we fucked it up pretty hard.
Not
It's Zero.Point.
specifically, but the
Yeah.
people that worked on those movies. And it's
But-
unfortunate. It's just how things seem to go.
There are things within the Nintendo lore that could have been in here that Nintendo probably doesn't like to talk about, and there's things in here that Nintendo probably would have corrected them about.
Yeah.
Like specifically towards the end where they're like, "Hey, nice raccoon suit." That wasn't the raccoon suit, kids. That was the Tanuki suit. That one kind of got me. Another one was the antiques. Where is that? Where they're like, "Oh, you just got a blow in it."
Well, didn't you
Not
see the
true.
hammer above your false logo? Like, come on, buddy.
that's the hammer from Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yep.
Anyway, blowing in your Nintendo cartridges was part of the problem when you were a kid, and we did not know that. We just knew to. Well, when you're doing that, you're spitting and getting all the particulates from your lip blown into your cartridge, and because it's moist, it's now sticking to it. So if you have an old NES cartridge, alcohol and cotton swabs, Windex and Q-tips are your best friends.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's sound advice.
It is. It really is. Like my experience with the Nintendo cartridges were basically the same thing. Like you just had to work the cartridges, and if you wanted to play the damn game, you had to get creative. This wasn't like a CD where it's like, well, shit, what do I do with this? Got to take it somewhere, pay $6 and get it resurfaced, or do I grab a bottle of toothpaste and a couple paper towels and try and buff it out myself?
Voodoo dance, something. Like cartridges were a trip, especially the old Nintendo, because sometimes it's like you had to fine tune how far you put it in, how slowly you put it down. They can be
That is
really
what she said.
temperamental.
Yeah. I mean, but to your point, like all cartridge-based systems for the longest time had that issue. Atari, Sega, Nintendo, they all had the same sort of situation going on with the pins going into the console docking port. And that's just, you'd struggle with it. I mean, I remember on my Atari trying to get pole position 2 to freaking work. At the time, I'd have to jimmy it just a little bit to the right, then kind of click it back over, and then kind of push it back a little bit just to get it to sync properly into the port, and it would work. Something was bent, but at that time I didn't know how to freaking fix that stuff. Nobody had those like screwdrivers unless your dad was like some sort of mechanic and he has like thousands of screwdrivers in the garage somewhere.
And knew how to tinker and solder shit. So
Yeah.
My Missile Command was like that.
Oh yeah.
Missile Command and Pac-Man. Anyway.
Yeah.
Those were better times. No, they weren't better. They were just anyway, yeah. 0..
Oh.
That's back to the antiques.
Anti-Qs. I always say anti-Qs for some stupid ass reason. I can't help myself.
It's telling everyone to get the fuck out of the line.
Or move to the next point already.
The next point. The Kongs. I dug this.
Oh God, this whole scene, like my wife made the comment. She's like, "I wish my commute to work was a little more like this." the I-10 to her job is completely nuts from where we live, so it's really funny.
the about oh gosh, what is it? What year is it? For almost 14 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
No, okay. Anyway, I was racing out to my aunt and uncle's house with my then girlfriend at the time. And there was a deer, as there commonly is here in Oregon. And I had to swerve around said motherfucker because deer are nature's suicide victims. They like jump out in front of you either to one, make a life choice, or two, make you make a life choice last minute.
I've hit a couple in my time.
And I swerved. The people behind me, unfortunately, were not so lucky as to avoid said deer. He made the life decision. And my girlfriend says, oh shit, those people just fucking hit it. And I'm like, oh, fuck.
There's no sunshine, only darkness.
About a half hour later and still not stopped.
Wow.
I proposed to my girlfriend and she's now my wife and mother of 3 kids.
Well, you survived a harrowing experience and now you're living in one.
But yeah, we caused an accident. A Mario Kart accident. Imagine a deer causing this accident. So it was
what
a
you
little
needed
bit more.
was the blue turtle shell. I told my wife I'm going to get her one for Christmas next year.
The turtle taking off his armor, like just like fuck your shit, and like screaming about the racetrack was amazingly funny. Like, because everyone hates the blue shell. If you played Mario Kart,
God, everybody hates that fucking thing. You want it, but you don't want it thrown at you.
Yeah, like you want to have that in your back pocket, not up your ass all the way.
Yeah, I played enough to remember that. So, and even Amy, like, I'm like, wait, that blue shell's for what? Car in the lead? And she's like, yep. I'm like, because it's been a long time since I played, so I needed to ask my Nintendo expert in the house.
I think the last one we played was Mario Kart 3D. And that one was actually a lot of fun.
Mine was I think Double Dash on GameCube. I think.
I didn't have the GameCube. That was the only Nintendo I did not have. I'm sorry, that and the Wii U, because the Wii was maddening enough. That would have been the that would have been the other thing that they could have put in this movie that Nintendo did not want you to talk about, was like have something fly and break the screen. A lot of folks got super duper like excited and overzealous playing Wii games, especially Wii Sports, and they would let go of the controller.
Oh, okay. Now I catch. At first, I'm like, "What the hell are you talking?" Oh yeah, now I remember all those stories because even my cousins, I believe, had an experience like this.
And there'd be like brand new TVs that people would get that morning for Christmas and hook up the Wii that they got that morning for Christmas. And they would go to bowl or throw a baseball and throw it right through that goddamn brand new TV.
Nunchuck style.
Like you'd see shit like that. There would be compilation videos on YouTube that would pop up that were just amazing.
They were fantastic, yes.
Yeah, so like definitely look those up. If you like shooting accidents, Wii Sports accidents are right up your alley.
YouTube that now. Well, actually, yeah, we should probably take a look at some of those, see if they are still funny.
They're just as tragic as say like somebody going to shoot a pistol and like walloping themselves in the forehead or something.
Or Black Friday fights.
Yes, exactly. But anyway, getting back to our show here. There was a huge pop getting back to the Mario Kart. The last one I played, I think, was Mario Kart, like I said, for the 3DS. And they incorporated parts of that in this one where they're getting the different tires, the type of kart, Peach having the motorcycle. And then the gliders, they're able to fly now. And I was like, oh,
Right.
that's cool. That was neat. It wasn't really a big pop until he hits the Rainbow Road, and I was like, ah!
Oh yeah.
They won me right there. I was like, this movie's gonna suck. Totally gonna suck. I don't care if it has a plot at all, and I'm liking it. See, what I told you before is I made a joke in spite of my inner child, because
Oh yeah.
like I'm so sarcastic and pessimistic because of the first movie, and then years of having to see it over and over and over again, years of having to accept that it's a riff tracks movie at this point now, and that it deserves it for that reason.
That's true.
This is everything a kid could have wanted in the early 90s. If you like a Mario fan, if you like the Super Mario Brothers Super Hour or whatever it was, this is everything you could have wanted, and it was really dope. And seeing the Rainbow Road was icing on a cake.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed with that myself. And the only other thing I can kind of think about is the runtime of the movie. It's pretty brisk at like about 93 minutes ish with credits and like all the mid and post credit stuff going on. But
Yeah.
the one thing I kind of felt watching this movie the second time around here was basically, it's pretty well edited. And I never really say this too much about a movie, but they could have had 10 more minutes. They could have stretched this out and not missed a beat. They could have fleshed out a scene here or there. You could have done a little bit more with Peach. Could have talked about a little bit more with Luigi and what he was having to deal with. As it is, he just kind of hit the background here and there. And then he eventually came back around in the end. So it all looped back. Everything flowed nice. The pacing was good. But when the movie's over with, it's like, most of these kid movies are about an hour and 45 minutes, and they always feel just a bit too long. This felt like it was a bit short, in my opinion, and I do feel like an extra 10 minutes would have really helped some of the story points, some of the characters, and showing off more of the beautiful animation, because quite frankly, this movie is beautiful. And the animation style and the quality of work they put in, they clearly put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and probably a lot of money. And you also had to get Nintendo's then approval. And if they didn't get that, this movie was never going to get off the ground or even finished. So kudos to them. But the movie could have been about 10 minutes longer. So maybe with the next one, they can kind of work somewhere in the playground of, you can add about another 5, 7, maybe 10 minutes, and you'd be just fine.
I think so, because their travel montage was quick glimpses at different levels from different Mario games.
Oh yeah.
And to your point, as far as the beauty and the detail that they showed, this is just a quick image. Like the contrast that they had of the airship coming down into the beautiful lit up Mushroom Kingdom. Like, if you have the Blu-ray to this, get up really close to your TV, because everything looks amazing there.
Yeah. That detail work is just utterly fantastic. And we're not talking like Easter eggs. We're talking like the landscaping in the distance. Look, even with our background, we know it's a little bit low res because we got high res on these cameras going, but you can see like the buildings at the bottom and working your way around the whole background wallpaper. It's like, if this was a little more like high res for for purposes of showing it off, you'd be like, holy shit, this looks great, but it's just a picture. No, it's a scene out of the freaking movie. They really did do the work for this.
They did. And in addition to that, and to your previous point with Luigi only getting a little bit of a story, is Luigi has his own game, Luigi's Haunted Mansion. And
right. I totally want a Luigi's Mansion goddamn movie when they're done with these three. Because if you're not going to give him a key storyline that runs from beginning to end, like say Mario, Bowser, and Peach, then You need to be setting him up for Luigi's Mansion 1, 2, and 3 after Mario is done.
Kind of, because Charlie Day did a really good job as Luigi. And
he was good. He's certainly no Leguizamo. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's my brother Mario, who did actually.
Yeah.
John did have the accent, though. You got to give him that.
Yeah, he did.
But you've asked, okay, what happens in another sequel where we don't have Bowser? Well, of course, in Mario 2, we had Wart, and we do have bit and preview of Mario 2 here in Luigi's Mansion, just for a second in the lightning with the Shy Guys.
That was fantastic. I like popped in like the theater when Amy and I were there to see it. It was like that just put a smile on my face from that moment forward. I'm like, okay, I'm in. Like you had me already, but that really like sealed the deal for me.
Yeah, really so. And then there's other villains here from the other games that show up at the wedding.
Oh yeah,
King Boo, King Babam, like
yeah. Boy, they set him off.
But see, again, those are villains, big villains or bosses that you could find in another movie. Would that be as fulfilling as Jack Black and as Bowser? Probably not, but it's an option.
Yeah, and there's other things they can get into as well. So there's plenty for them to get into, and it's natural for us to talk about like where they could possibly go with the sequels, because this movie turned out to be pretty much the second highest grossing movie of the year. It's also one of the highest grossing animated films of all time. And quite frankly, that's one of the big questions a lot of people have is, okay, well, we know about Mario. We all saw it. But what do you think is going to happen next? So it's only natural to talk about, hey, what do you think is going to happen next? And I love these ideas. It's all speculation. None of us know anything, but they do tip off that Yoshi is at least going to be in the next one. And I know it's purely hypothetical, but if they get down the road and they get to say like a Wario, that could be pretty interesting too.
I'd watch that. Wario, what was it? Waluigi? Is that the other guy?
And Waluigi, yep.
Waluigi.
I'm just saying, I think that'd be pretty interesting of their evil counterparts.
Not to sway 0.2 too far away, but those counterparts were again all played by the same actor that plays Mario and Luigi.
Yep.
And to shut down the people that just automatically wanted to shut down the movie because Mr. Martin wasn't there, he plays Giuseppe, who's right there playing Jumpman, which was the original name for Mario and Donkey Kong.
Exactly.
And I think Mario in general. And he also plays Mario's dad.
Yes.
And so that's really Mario telling Mario that he's fucking up his life and taking his brother down with him.
Yeah, because you took my job, you little fucker.
It's so meta.
I'm kidding. But no, they got them some roles. It's not like they completely discarded them and didn't have them involved in the movie like at all. Now, they had the female voice. I think she was the original voice of female Peach, and she played like the secretary who was doing the Super Mario commercial at the beginning. And she was the original voice actress for Peach. So they brought her in on this too. Because she's like, and if it doesn't work, she did the little cell phone thing. It was really funny. I wish I could remember the actual like lines, but I don't want to do too many clips going on that are not changed around for our purposes. So
I think the line that killed me the most, or will probably be quoted by me the most, was "Sit. Jam with me." That was so ominous and not inviting at all. It was so fucked.
Well, I loved all the lines from the Blue Star. So,
oh yes, the happy "we're all going to die, sweet long death."
There's no sunshine, only darkness.
I loved him.
The ritual sacrifice scene when they're lowering down, it's like yay, and then when it's big race, it's like boo. Super funny.
And I love that, like, the happiness and pride in Bowser's face when he turns and looks down at Peach going, I'm going to sacrifice them in your honor. Like, it was like a cat bringing a mouse to you.
Pretty much.
He was just so, like, proud of himself, like, to give it to her. And you felt for him to a point, other than the fact that he was going to drop Luigi in there, which really, all the penguins probably wouldn't have cared that much. The blue star, he's okay, but probably wouldn't have cared that much.
Yeah.
You got to save Luigi, so you can't sacrifice him, I guess.
Yep, can't kill Luigi yet. You got to wait for the next one. Where the Empire Strikes Back. The Koopa Empire Strikes Back.
They're going to freeze Yoshi, take him away. Or freeze,
What, in Carbonite, you think?
Maybe, or Marshmallow, because they've got a lot of that. The Marshmallow Islands.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Speaking of, I was going to say the Koopa Islands from Mario Kart. They actually talk about Bowser actually being a turtle in this, and he tells everyone, I'm going to be the most powerful turtle in the world. And it shows all the different Koopas there in front of him. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That was cool looking.
Yeah.
Up until the point where he does that, dialogue written by your 12-year-old sister, and then I'm going to make her marry me.
And they're like, yay? So funny. Man, this humor in this movie just worked so well for me. I cannot gush about it any more highly. Like, the humor just works for me. Now, not everything landed, of course, but not many comedies get me laughing like the whole movie from beginning to end and not understand, okay, what did I just watch again? This isn't Dude, Where's My Car? So
yeah, and see, my kids really like this. They watched it before I did. I started watching this with them when it first came out, and I fell asleep and then woke up at the end. So I'd only seen like the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes.
Oh.
This was my first watch through all the way through, and it was fun. I had fun the entire time. Like, it wasn't slap your knee laughing the entire time, but it kept you entertained. And there's nothing about this movie that I have to like stop and explain to my kids or stop and explain to my wife. Granted, my wife has beat Super Mario Brothers so many more times than I have. Like, I don't even brag at all. She kicks my ass. But this movie runs on its own feet. So like, if you're not a video game fan or you've not played the early games, it doesn't matter. This movie's going to like have that backstory there for you and have that humor to keep you entertained the entire time, both kid, adult, video game fan, and not video game fan. What's the word for that?
Gamer?
Non-gamers, yeah.
Yeah, gamers, non-gamers. This movie, there's a sweet spot just about this for about everybody. Now, there are the critics out there that absolutely ride this movie. It's not Super Mario Brothers, voice actors this, the writing's bad, that. The movie just wasn't made for you then. You're not going to please everybody all the time. There's always going to be some naysayers. There's even people that say like Empire Strikes Back is the worst Star Wars movie ever made. I don't know what to tell you.
Damaged people.
It's just, don't know what to tell you. It's just not every movie's for everybody. You just got to make the best movie you can for who you want to make the movie for. And it's always my opinion. If you're a director, writer, whatever, and you're making a movie, is this a movie you want to see yourself? If you say no, you shouldn't be working on that project. Get the fuck off. This isn't Lucasfilm and Disney where they're checking a box and hiring you because of whatever, like agenda, politics, whatever. if you're not into what you're making, get the fuck out of the movie. Don't watch it. Don't need to. You're just going to harm the movie. You're just doing a job. I know it's Hollywood is a film business. It's show business. It's not show friends. Not talking about show friends. I'm talking about you have a passion for this project. Do you believe in it? If you do, awesome. If you don't, doors over there. See ya.
Kinda. And that's where, like we talked about at the beginning, I praise Jack Black for this. And I don't think he put more into it than anybody else as far as like skill, but there's a whole lot of heart in his character.
Energy.
Yeah. And everyone had fun. I'm not going to say that there's people that phoned it in. Nobody phoned it
nobody
in with the
did.
picture.
Yeah.
Everyone has a moment of making you feel something. Peach, Toad, Luigi, everybody, the little blue star dude. Everyone's got a moment of either like making you feel terror, adventure, excitement for them. The king at the beginning. Do you yield?
Oh, wait. I gotcha.
Do you yield?
That's dope as fuck. It was so cool. But then later on, he's going to make you laugh going, don't mind him. He's woohoo.
Yeah, he's a little woohoo. He's a little cuckoo. Oh, man. I love the little penguins. Like, the movie's cute. It's charming. It's fun. It's engaging. And if you're just not into it, hey, that's cool. You don't like it, that's cool too. We liked it. We had a great time watching it. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the next one. And I may not have liked like some of the voice actors, but there's one I really didn't like, but it didn't kill the movie for me. It's just like, I would have preferred somebody else, but that's okay.
Hit me with it.
Oh, it was Cranky Kong.
Oh, that's right, Derp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have seen that. And that's not with any disrespect. I liked it well enough, but it wasn't so good that I couldn't imagine anybody else playing Cranky Kong.
Right.
I couldn't imagine anybody else other than Seth Rogen playing Donkey Kong. And
Seth was okay. Not his biggest fan, but I thought he did a pretty good job in the role.
Oh, see, I like him. I don't know why, but I do. Like, I get his humor. I like most of the characters that he plays and just about everything he's in.
I'm about 50-50 on some of his roles. I really like some, and others I'm just like,
Well, we've seen Donkey Kong. The only other time I think we've seen Donkey Kong was in Captain N, the Game Master. And Donkey Kong was basically King Kong in Kongland, where it was basically Skull Island. They didn't have the Kong country like they do here. So there was no like voice or character to Donkey Kong back in the 80s.
Right.
I don't think we had anything that he was in the cartoon of in the 90s, although I may be mistaken.
I honestly don't remember.
I don't remember at all. I want to say Donkey Kong.
If it was, it was pretty minimal.
Yeah.
Or we would remember something like that.
Yeah, but for the character that they wrote for him here, I think Rogen was perfect. Like,
yeah, he did really pretty good. Yeah.
My favorite scene again, outside of Come Sit With Me, was where they go to the start line for the Mario Kart race.
Oh,
and he just whispers at him, "I hate you."
Well, I like how Toad rolled up in like the Bigfoot, like big ass truck, and the rest of them are just like, what the hell? And he's throwing his shades on, like, yeah, let's go.
And he loses control of the hydros and starts bouncing everywhere.
Oh, that was funny.
That kind of made me want to go watch Born in East LA. It really did.
Okay. That's random.
They lose control of hydros. Or wait, was that? Nah, anyway. Another 0 point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Toad, we haven't talked much about Toad. Toad was something that everyone wanted to see. I think that was going to have an opinion on.
Yeah, that
And
was
I
going to be
don't.
an important one, actually. Maybe not the most important character, but an important perception. And what are they going to do with Toad here?
Yeah, and it could have gone either way. There's not much character to him in the original Mario trilogy. Our princess
Right.
is in another castle. There was a quick joke about that, but they actually built this adventure character, like super duper enthusiastic, almost Hobbit like. His passion
yeah.
is beating ass with skillets and then cooking.
Hell yeah. I thought that was funny. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, and it's like he has that heart when they're going to go look for Luigi to say, I'm going to go with you. Not can I go with you? He's saying, I'm going to go with you and protect the princess. And he like throws his chest out like, I'm not going to let anyone hurt you.
All right, you can come on.
Yeah. And she was like, sure, okay, you've got the spirit, let's go. And she tells him to leave with the rest of the kingdom when Bowser's airship is coming. And he just like throws his chest out again and his fists down and says, I said I wasn't going to let anyone hurt you. And you're just kind of like, oh, goosebumps. Because the line was delivered really well. Like you felt it. Really wasn't expecting that from this movie.
Yeah. It was really sweet. Really outstanding and confidence galore from Toad. Like, that's what you need. That's where you hit the sweet spot. This is why these movies from like Illumination are usually pretty good. They usually have a pretty good story, really good characters to them. I know how many Minions and Despicable Me movies are there, and we're getting a fourth one next year. Well, this year.
8th.
But I like them just fine, but you can always trust that those movies have a little bit of sweet and cuteness to them and a little bit of heart. You know, that's what this movie is, and I can't wait for more of them.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to like make people want to see it or not want to see it, but it's kind of similar to Shrek in a way.
A little bit.
It's a cross between say like Shrek and Wizard of Oz, but if Dorothy found Batman instead of like the Tin Man and
oh my god,
Princess is a lot more savage than fucking the Scarecrow. And that was one of the things that they did a good job of, because of course we're in this political age where inclusion is typically forced in media, and it doesn't always feel right. It did feel right here. Just the same way I think that Princess Fiona felt right in Shrek. And by that, I mean, they didn't force her to not be a damsel in distress. They just made her a capable character and a smart character. They made her not need a saving knight or prince or Mario plumber rescuer. They did a damn good job enough of their own kicking ass. And you see her holding a scimitar, walking towards the airship with Toad in a leather biker outfit. And you're like, well, fuck, she's got this. And she does. She goes right up to Toad, or right up to Bowser, and threatens to kick his ass. And going back to Anna, when they did the red carpet, she wore this outfit. And then did some poses for the paparazzi. And I'm like, oh, honey, no. Is it hot? Sure, but you look like a dork. I look like a dork. That's not a kung fu move.
Like, it's so weird seeing her with blonde hair, though. I'm so used to seeing her in roles where her hair is red.
Let's see, I very only vaguely remember her. That's all, and I mean that with no disrespect. I just haven't seen her whole filmography, and what I have seen of her, I've only seen maybe once or twice.
Well, let's see. I think she was in Peaky Blinders. She's in the new Mad Max movie coming out later this year, Furiosa. She's been in like. There was a chess television show, The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. She was in that. And there's a couple other like Netflix series she's been in, and that she's done really well. So I actually really like her as an actress.
That's cool.
Like seeing her as a blonde, I was like, oh, honey, go back to being a redhead. You look so much better. She's also in the movie The Menu. That's another thing I was thinking about. And she did really good in that, I thought.
I've heard that's very good.
It's a very good movie. I think you'd like that one.
It's got Voldemort.
Ray Fiennes is fantastic in that one.
You know I like him. I can't say no.
Yeah, right. We should do Strange Days one of these days, too.
I think so. I've never seen that. Oh, come on, Edge. Go away. It's blocking my... I'll get to the next picture in a second. Go away.
No, you go away.
Like Edge rando pops up on this computer. I don't want
Do
you.
you yield?
I do at this point. Go away. Wow, you suck. I said to myself. Meow. Damn. Okay. So sorry about that. So anyway, so I'm sitting here looking at this picture of her doing the little kya pose for the paparazzi. And when I went back and I was looking at this picture, doing the pictures, and just really, I get up close with the pictures, and we talked about it a bit before. Some of the things that the animators put in that the director didn't catch.
Right.
So let's play this week's game. Look at that camel toe.
Oh.
There's no sunshine,
Where we get-
only darkness.
Where we get to ask ourselves which is a real camel toe and which camel toe is digital. Kids at home, you decide. Yeah, so anyway, like I said, it wasn't a great joke. It was a fantastic joke I had.
Let us know in the comments below what you think about that one. Direct all your hate mail directly to Kevin.
So sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was like, it just kind of popped into my head like, oh, they drew that dirty. And they did.
God damn it, Kevin.
Anna's outfit was just fine. It was perfect. There was nothing nasty about it. I'm not making fun of her. I'm making fun of the movie.
Okay.
So that's the answer as to which one was a real camel toe.
The curious at home.
This is an Illumination picture. It's the really clear picture.
That's why it's still pixelated.
Yeah, I kind of blew that one up and I was like, I don't want to do it again.
No.
Not for something I'm sure I'm going to go to hell for anyway.
Well, you got any more tawdry screenshots we can throw at everybody before we head on out, Kevin?
Other than the fact, just leave people with this. Super Mario Brothers in cocaine mode. Yeah. I liked this. I liked the star ending. Everybody knows the power star. It was super fun. Like you said, it's only 3 minutes, but you get the star for 20 seconds, 15 seconds?
Yeah, like
upon if you don't fall.
It was usually my fucking problem.
That was my problem in Mega Man. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But this was it's not a perfect film. I don't know all the time what a perfect film is. It's not, say, like The Princess Bride. But you can't ask for much more of a Mario flick in this. Like maybe the Koopa kids, maybe they'll come around for the next picture. Maybe it'll be Wart, like we said. but you're going to have a lot of fun if you like the Mario games. And if you
Yes.
like this and you've never played the Mario games, oh, you have a wonderful world opening up to you now.
Oh, absolutely. Like, there's a lot in here for a lot of people. It's not going to please everybody, and I don't even think this is a perfect film. But, on a 10-point scale, I'd go like 7.5 easy on this. Like, you could even convince me on an 8. I wouldn't go like 9 or 10 out of 10. Not because I didn't like the movie or nothing. It's just because, if you're going to go down to brass tacks and get nitpicky about some things, I'll take some points off. But this is pretty high up there. They had a lot to make up for a lot of the adults that grew up with the 90s, and they've been playing the games for years, and there's a big passionate fan base for Mario. It's like, that's very uncharted waters to navigate, like badness from 30 years ago to things that are here now and all the games in between, what you like about certain characters, certain locations, music. They had musical numbers that were callbacks to many games and many iterations of Mario. Like, there's a lot to try and navigate, and they got through it. They did very well. Hopefully it translates to, Zelda live action. Nintendo's still firmly in control of that. Hopefully, they get into some other franchises. I would think they should go into Star Fox, but that's just my opinion.
That would be rad.
But no, the movie's really good for what they did, and it's a great first step to restoring the image of Nintendo and even Mario back into the cinema. Like, who would have thought this would actually translate to like cinema, box office, and entering the public consciousness as pop culture? Like, when you hear Super Mario right now, what's the first thing you think of? Right now, you're thinking about this movie. Then you start thinking about the games. And I'm talking about like normies, normal, casual people. You hear Mario, oh yeah, did you see that movie? It's not, oh, did you play that last game? Even though Super Mario RPG Remake just came out, which I got for my wife for Christmas, and she crushed that game in like record time.
God damn. That's cool.
But, there's a lot to do with Mario, and there's so many places they can go. It's very exciting to see where we're going to be heading with Mario in the future, and some of the Nintendo projects. Hopefully, in my opinion, the Zelda one's going to be the sticking point with a lot of people, because, yeah, you did great with Mario. You're going to do Zelda? Sweet. Live action? Oh, fuck. Zelda does talk. How are we going to do this? I will tell him. We will see.
And see, how are they going to do that again, where you have a Zelda movie where Zelda is not the damsel in distress or needing to be rescued or found, or so that.
I'm sorry, Link doesn't speak, not Zelda.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever, or I've ever seen him.
Yeah.
Well, I love you too, Jesus.
No, I'm about me. It's like Zelda doesn't speak. It's like, no, Zelda speaks just fucking dandy. It's Link that doesn't talk.
Sometimes she never stops.
I do this like all the time because I'm not very good at Zelda or Legend of Zelda games, and I've only ever played the first one. My wife is the big Zelda person, and she always corrects me when I say, "Oh, that Zelda never talks." Oh, she's like, "It's Link, Jeff." So
sorry. Yeah, I like the original, and I think I like the Ocarina of Time for the 64. Anything beyond that, like, I have no knowledge about, and I know other people are like, "Oh man, that shit sucks," compared to like other stuff that has come since then.
Yeah, with Amy, it's basically Majora's Mask is her favorite.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good game. I actually watched her play that one all the way through. So
that's the last one I started, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The last one I got to play. I don't want to see them do what Disney did, where Pirates comes out and that movie's dope as shit, and then their next project was Haunted Mansion, and each time they've done Haunted Mansion, just worse than before. So
yeah, that was so bad.
Yeah,
I mean, I know the Pirates movies go off the rails, but I really like the second one. I totally understand what everybody hates about the third one, though, even though I still like it.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying as the first movie alone, even if you discredit or ignore the sequels, like when the first movie came out, I saw that like 4 times in the theater.
I saw it about the same.
Yeah, and Haunted Mansion came out. I saw it once.
And I wish I didn't, because I did once as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, they shit the bed with that. So hopefully we'll get Zelda being just okay or pretty good. I love it. I'd like to see the success, because if this works, there's other video games I think that would translate very, very well to the big screen. I mean, I like the Ratchet and Clank movie. That translated pretty good. It wasn't great. It wasn't even on the level of like Mario. I mean, hell, the only other movie out there that's even close to Mario is the Sonic franchise. They're not quite on this level, and I really like those. So
those are good, huh?
Yeah, I like the Sonic movies. The first one is pretty good. Second one I think is really good because it's got Knuckles in it. So it's like if you're a gamer, like now is kind of a good time to get into some of these movie games. And like Sonic is good, but by comparison to like Mario is much, much better. Yeah. Because it's not intermingling with live action, whereas the Sonic movies are.
Yeah, like there's no it would be a gimmick if Mario would have done it. I
wouldn't have liked that at all.
Yeah. And I haven't seen Sonic, but I don't think they utilize it in the same way, do they?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I would have hoped not.
No, it's basically like Roger Rabbit in the real world again, you know.
Okay.
It's just basically CGI Sonic interacting with a bunch of humans. It's no different than a bunch of other like CGI characters in a real world setting.
Yeah, like if I can get through the Smurfs and smile, I'm sure I could watch that and smile too.
Oh, Sonic is better. Yeah.
I don't know which Smurfs I've seen.
I don't know, little blue people. You must be watching the Avatar movies again, Kevin, and smoking and getting high. But any last thoughts before we wrap up and say goodbye to everybody?
No. Other than just go play more video games, have fun, and watch this.
Yep. Rock on with Mario Brothers. And we do too. Hey, if you like this video, please comment below. Got any favorite thoughts, favorite lines from this movie? You know, any memories from like going to see the theater and you had a great time with the crowd? Got this at home? Like to hear what you have to say. Please make sure you hit the like button. Give us a subscribe if you like this, and we got more videos on the way. We are rolling with video game month, so stay tuned for what we're doing next. You might be doing a uppercut, if you catch my drift, and going Hadouken. So thank you, everybody. What's that?
I'm excited.
I am too.
Yeah.
So thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
See you later, alligator.
And we'll see you next time. Make sure you check us out on all of our social media platforms. We got Facebook, Twitter. We are at Suns and Shadows. We're also on Instagram at Suns and Shadows Cast. We are at SunsAndShadows.com. Thank you again, everybody, and we'll see you down the road.